Hello, welcome. I'm Dorthek, and this is the beginning of my first non-Factorio stream. We're gonna play one of my other favorite games, EU4, Europa Universalis IV. This is a vanilla playthrough, although there are a couple of mods that are just purely UI and graphics improvements, and you can see there's a link with the mods command. And I was thinking about what to play. I was tempted to go with Austria because this is the Emperor patch, but I played some test games and quite honestly, I just found Austria kind of boring. I may go back to it at some point. So I tend to achievement hunt in this, and what I decided to do is go for a long achievement-based campaign. I did the Forever Golden campaign, which was to take Castile and complete all of its and Spain's missions. And I really enjoyed that, so I was going to do that with Austria with the AEIOU game, but I think we're going to go in the other direction that I was looking at and start with England. England it just suits my playing style better. I really enjoy the colonial game, so we're gonna go with England. And when I was experimenting with it, there's some different things that have to do with how you start, and so I restarted a few times to try to find the right start, and I think I've got one. So we're gonna load that up and play it. So with that, let's switch over the screen and get started. All right, here we are in 1444, November 11, 1444, the start of EU4. Now, there's an awful lot to do at the very beginning, so it may be a little bit before we unpause. But here we are as England, and of course we own, England and Wales here. We've got one province, the province of Pale in Ireland, and we own these territories in France. Now, there are two things coming up that are going to be of key importance. First is the surrender of the Maine event. Apparently, we promised to give this Maine here to France, and we haven't. And very shortly after start, they're going to demand it. And we have to decide if we want to give it to them or not. And there's basically three options. Option one is to give it to them. We lose some prestige, but that kind of ends that. Option two is not to give it to them. And in that case, we have a war. And I think we're even considered the aggressors in the war, so our allies don't automatically come in. We might be able to call them in, though. And option three, I'm just going to turn the volume a little bit down. In fact, I think we're going to turn the game music down a little bit. I like the music a great deal in this game, but it is a little loud to talk over. Okay. Now, option three is we get rid of Maine. It used to be the case that you could release this area as a vassal, give Maine to it, and then the event wouldn't happen. It still happens now. They've patched that. So instead, we can give it to either Provence or Orléans or Brittany. Now, I don't want to give it to Orléans because Orléans is one of the vassals of France. But Provence, which is allied with France, is a different story. We could give it to Brittany. The problem with giving it to Brittany is that basically gives France an excuse to attack and eat Brittany immediately, and I want to attack and eat Brittany. Whereas Provence, they're allies, so it kind of sours the relationship for a while and muddies the water. So that's one option. I'm tempted to say that in my test game, I did just that, and it worked very well, and it allowed me to control when I go to war with France better. I'm tempted to keep Maine and refuse to surrender it this time and see what happens. And if we get our butts kicked too much, we might restart. I have a copy of this saved game backed up so that I can always get the same start. Now, why did I reload this particular save? Well, the reason I loaded it is, if we look at France, you can see that their rivals are us, which is fine, Burgundy, and Castile. Which means we can easily get alliances with Burgundy and Castile, and we can also get an alliance with Austria, and that will let us have 3 very powerful allies that can help us beat up on France. Now, I'd love to also do Aragon, but and I could easily ally them. The problem is they are rival to both. They've been rivaled by both Burgundy and Castile, and if I ally Aragon, Burgundy's not going to stay in the alliance. And I'd rather have Burgundy than Aragon. They're a more valuable ally for us. So, the other nice thing about this particular start is Scotland, as always, is guaranteed by France. That's always the case when it starts. But they're not allied to France, and that's very important, because it means if we attack France, we're not also going to be fighting Scotland in our back pocket. So, let's get started. Oh, so that's one major issue is Maine. The other major issue is this looming disaster here. We've got the War of the Roses. The War of the Roses is going to happen soon. And it's going to... Hello. Hi, ALE. Yep, France has no manpower, and that's why I'm tempted to actually give him a fight this time. In the past, I've gotten rid of Maine. I'm going to see about fighting it out this time. Hey, Harleanth, I was going to. I thought about Austria, and if there's great demand, I'm willing to do it, but I've played some test games, and personally, I just found Austria boring. I'm a big fan of the colonial game, so that's much easier with England, and Austria was just so much of that annoying HRE internal diplomacy. It was... I mean, I'm quite willing to do it if people want, but... yeah, Recore is definitely a thing to do. So, yeah. So Harleanth, I decided that I would play England as my first EU4 stream because I think it's just a more fun game. At least it suits my playstyle better. So we've got this looming disaster. We've got you know, the worst king in the universe. So the sooner he dies, the better. Which means the first thing we're going to do is turn him into a ruler, just to increase the odds that he dies. Right, I still want to tweak music a little bit more. So that doesn't work anymore, Harleanth. They patched that in 1.3. You can no longer... giving him to a vassal no longer dodges it. You could give it away to a non-vassal. Provence is the usual... the one that seems to work well. But you can no longer do that. Yep, free core for cheap mercs is definitely a good idea. They are in fact cheaper than regulars. So yeah, if we release Normandy and give him Maine, that would work before 1.3. The way to dodge the event entirely is to give it to Provence or Brittany, but I'm going to give it a try and not do that. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, we're not going to be that far in. We can always either recover or restart. So, that happened. Let's set our rivals, and we're going to set Scotland, and we're going to set France, and there's really no reason not to set Denmark, because I'm going to want to go to war with them soon. Yeah, it's a very different thing now. They've got this vassal swarm thing going. All right. Portugal, we'll hold on to it through the first war, but we're going to get rid of that alliance. It's of no use to us. So, next thing we want to do is get some alliances. First and foremost, I would like Burgundy. Then I would like Castile, which we will get tomorrow. We can't do it the same day. And third, we will go for Austria. Debate in Parliament. Yes, we need to deal with all this stuff. Okay, advisors. Before we do advisors, let's look at estates. Unfortunately, we're missing the nobility estate. It's and we don't have the diet because we have Parliament instead. But it is what it is. So let's load up some of these. Let's see, we want this one. We get cheaper admin cost. We want this one to just for loyalty. And we are gonna give them the monopolies because although it costs us some income, it does boost our mercantilism very nicely. So we are going to want to use that. Yeah, estates are totally different. If you have not seen estates since 1.3, it's a completely different game. Now, I will start by saying right now, they don't look like this in the base game. I'm running a mod that makes this UI just look different because you see how there's like 5 slots? Well, the standard one, UI hides one of them, so you can't see it or click on it or access it, which is slightly bewildering. That's really the main change. They rearranged it a little bit. Yeah, so now in the normal game you have the 3 estates, and because we're England, we don't have nobles, but you no longer have those regular button presses that you had in before 1.3, and you no longer have the thing where you assign estates to provinces. If you look at a province, this section down here where we used to set an estate, that's gone. No more. Instead, what you have is a division of land. So right now, all of our land is divided 33% clergy, 33% burghers, 33% crown. If our crown lands dip below 30%, 30, we start taking some malices, and we want as much land as possible. Now, we can seize land from them. We can take 5% land, like every 5 years, I think, something like that. But they lose loyalty, and if they drop below 30% loyalty, that's bad. We can build up the loyalty using some of these interactions here. So we've set a couple of policies. Yeah, having high crown land is OP, yeah. I rarely hit a high number with them, though, because I tend to give it a back to get the +1 to get the monarch power bonuses. But once you hit Age of Absolutism and revoke everything, then yeah, it definitely becomes very, very nice. So I've set 4 policies. These 2, monopoly on wool and wine, give me a bunch of cash up front in exchange for the fact that I get no production income from those 2. Oh. I'm gonna unlock you, Harleanth, because unfortunately this thing doesn't have a warning. But it's like, the heck did this thing just do to me? Hold on a sec. Okay, Harleanth, are you there? I should have undone the thing. Unfortunately, my bot doesn't let me do warnings. I do try to avoid using certain words in chat, and I request that folks do. But it should not have banned you for it. It should have just given a warning, but it's being screwy. So my apologies. You should be able to speak now. Yeah, I have no idea, because I didn't see it. I just saw the message that Stream Elements timed you out. Anyway, so yes, mercantilism is very good. That's why we want to give those monopolies. I don't see it. The message deleted. Hang on. I don't normally deal with this too much. Deleted 5 of your statements. I have no idea, and I don't seem to have anything to click on. I don't know. I may investigate it during a break, but okay. If you can, that's great, because I don't see it. I just got a thing that says 5 messages deleted, and then that you got a 30-second timeout. But I've got to find a way to set it to just give a warning the first time or two. But anyway, So yeah, what was I saying? The states. So a lot of these privileges that you give them, they increase loyalty and influence. They reduce your absolutism, which means you want to get rid of them once you get into Age of Absolutism, but we don't care for now. And meanwhile, they give you really nice boosts. These give you a point of mercantilism every time you issue them. Oh, and it just did it again. Let me unban you again. You know what? I'm just going to turn off the thing. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to do this. Yes, there's that specific religious estate, clergy? Ooh, that's probably what it is. You know what? Let me turn that off. Hold on a second. Because it's using for... what you're hitting is a prohibition against using the derogatory word for the Roma people. And I think because there's a GY in there, it's somehow triggering on that. Give me 1 second. Let me just turn that off for the moment. There we go. So you can't give the specific religious estate to negate autonomy effect. Huh. I don't know why it triggered. I think maybe because of the way it's triggered based on certain combination of letters, and it's I don't see that you use them. I don't know. It might be a bug of some sort, either in my settings or in the stream elements, because like I'm looking at the message and you don't have those letters in there. They're just not there. All right. So you can't give the specific religious estate. I'm not sure I understand the question, but anyway, so these are the ones that I set there. And then over on the burgers, let's see, we are gonna set this one just for loyalty, and we're gonna set monopoly on glass. Yes, no, that you can no longer do that. Gotcha. Now I understand what you're asking. No, that's no longer an option. And monopoly on textiles. And where's the one for diplomatic advisor costs? There we go. Now, it does make buying stability more expensive, which is annoying because we're going to want to buy at least a point of stability, but hopefully we'll get it from an event or something. Yeah, no, that's gone. That mechanic is gone. On the plus side, you get a lot more trade company options because you can, which, you know, negate autonomy a different way. Basically, let me pull up the subcontinents map. Basically, since my capital is in Western Europe, any trade area outside Western Europe, I can now create a monopoly in. So if I take some land over here, for example, I can have a trade company there. If I... or, you know, or down here, or in the Levant, which, you know, gives you a lot of options for that, and that's another way to get around autonomy. So, it's interesting. I think I like it. I think I like it. It's the other big thing is there's loyalty equilibrium. Like a lot of these, like this says this is a, you know. It's not well written, unfortunately, and I think maybe they fixed the tooltip either in a patch or in that UI. So like here it says burger's loyalty will change by 5%. That's not correct. It's not that going to change the burger loyalty. It's going to change the loyalty equilibrium. So right now you can see the equilibrium. The loyalty is 50%. It hasn't changed, but the equilibrium is 73%. So it's going to go up to 73% over time. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, now that I've done that, is seize land. which I can do because they're both at 50, so it'll drop them down to 30. And that is an instant loyalty hit, but it will trend back up to 77 over here, 73.6 over here, so not a bad deal. And now I have 38% and they have 30 each, which means I'm getting more taxes, more everything. So if you look here, the tax is affected by I don't remember the exact formulas, but the more land you have, the more bonuses you have to tax income and other incomes. So it's pretty nice. Now, for anyone but England, you also have this button here, Summon the Diet, which is a little bit, I've been told, like the mission system from way back when that they got rid of and replaced with these mission trees. But basically, each of the 3 estates gives you a mission and you choose which of them to complete, and that gets you some bonuses. But we don't have that because we have Parliament instead. So let's see what we can... oh, we can't do it in the first month because it's still bugged. We gotta wait till December 1st before it'll let us do that. They want more seats. We'll do that after we pass the first one. Advisors. I don't believe we have any scripted discount advisors, so we'll take Discipline. We'll take Diplo Rep. And we'll take this guy because I don't want to pay for a level 2 yet. And National Unrest is not a bad thing. I don't know that we need it too much right now. And we can do this thing, but no, I never take this one because I do not want the institution spread penalty. Corruption is rising because there's no debate in Parliament. Yep, whatever. We'll get a debate soon. We're negative money, but that's not real either. We can pick a naval doctrine, and we definitely want merchant navy. And that's most of what we can do here and now. Oh, you know what? We have diplomats. Let's warn Scotland because we don't want them to start taking land in Ireland. That's going to be our land. And let's see. What are we doing with ships? This is our heavies and our transports. I'm going to separate those 2 fleets. I'm going to stick... no. This, and this is our lights. So lights are going to go and protect trade in the English Channel. And the other 2 are going to go hang out over here for the moment. Alright, I think, let's see, what else do we want to do? We want to lose this guy. Government, we're fine on. Diplo, we can, we have a free dude, so we can issue an embargo. Where is it? There it is. Economy is what it is. We're going to turn... Oh, this is another nice change in this current version. You can now just toggle war taxes on, and they'll come up automatically when you're at war, and then turn off automatically when you're not at war. Trade is... what are merchants doing? They're transferring in North Sea and Lubeck. I'm not sure that's the best use, but I guess that's probably okay for now. We may want to actually set one to collect, but yeah, we don't... No, there's no reason for us to have one in Lubeck. So let's send him over here to collect. I generally don't bother with merchants just for the tiny boost to trade power, because I just use them for steering, and there's nowhere to steer from Lubeck. It's gonna go here. Alright, tech, we don't have that. Mission trees we will look in a sec. Just checking to make sure I'm not missing anything. This is another big new mechanic, government capacity. There's no longer a limit to number of states you can have. Instead, you have governing capacity, which is basically how much development or how many provinces you can have. I don't remember offhand. And you get various bonuses to it, and non-stated provinces count for half. So it's like an indirect limit on states. Religion is whatever it is. Military forts are up. We have one good general, and at least our useless king has a siege pip, so that's a really nice thing. We have no subjects, and we've dealt with estates. So here's our missions. And the first big thing is to get our total army size to the force limit and manpower to 60%. Well, we're a long way from 60%. So it would be lovely to get this done before the War of the Roses. It's probably not going to happen. And this triggers, when we get this, we get permanent claims on Ireland. And that'll trigger us to go conquer Ireland, which will then give us, it'll give us as well as a claim on Scotland. So, maritime, this is going to take a while. War of the Roses, we just have to survive. And 100 Years' War, we need to be at war with France. The moment we're at war with France, we get permanent claim on a few things, and if we can siege out Paris, then I believe that's correct. Capital, yeah. If we can siege out Paris, then we get the forced personal union. What I don't know offhand is if we have our initial war with France, that'll trigger that, and then we siege out Paris, that'll trigger that. Can we use that same war to do the personal union, to force the union? I'm not sure that we can do that, but we will give it a try. Okay, here's our forces. Yeah, I don't know if you need this, if you have to use that CB. That's exactly what I'm not certain of, but we'll find out. So to build to the force limit, we could just, I think we're just going to hire mercs, because as oh, hold on. Oh shoot, Ale, I'm sorry, I didn't really notice that it blocked you as well, but I think you may have left. Oh, that's annoying. But yeah, as Ale mentioned, free company is actually cheaper than regulars to hire. So another major change in this edition is you no longer hire mercs as individual units. You now have to hire them as a company, and you cannot break them up. So if I hire this free company, it'll be 8 infantry, that's it. You can't merge them with your units, they're a separate thing. Some of the more expensive companies come with generals, and sometimes the generals are quite good. But for the moment, we're just going to hire this free company for 91, and we're going to put it here. Okay. And I think we're ready to unpause. Yeah. I'm going to start with speed 3 because I want to make sure we get all our diplomacy in. Offer of alliance from Leinster. No, I do not want Leinster as an ally because I'm planning on conquering all that. We sent our alliance to Burgundy, so Castile we want next. And then the next day we can do Austria. And that puts us at our Diplo limit. And we will dump Portugal as soon as we get through this first war. Okay, now, with our ships in the channel, we're going to do auto-transport and move everybody over to the French side in preparation for the surrender of the Maine. And we're not going to accept royal marriage requests, certainly not from Portugal, but not from anyone else either, because I don't want to get an heir. Because if I get an heir, our horrible king might, then the roses won't fire, and our horrible king might be on the throne for another 50 years. I'd much rather the war triggered, and then the War of the Roses triggered, and then we got a decent replacement. So this is the free company, and you can see it's still green, but it's now I can't like split it up or merge it or whatever. So we'll go up to speed 4 because really all we need to do right now is build up our manpower and trade league disbanded, fine, and wait for the surrender of the main event. Let's see, force limit, we're at the force limit, 3737, and yes, and I will happily marry them as soon as we get rid of as soon as we get rid of this king and get a better king. Oh, the Pope got excommunicated. That's cool. Yep, we're not going to marry Austria either. I know this goes against everything Austria stands for. But, not marrying Castile. We'll marry all of you in a little bit. Trust us, you don't want to be married to this loser. Oh, and apparent... so this is one of the other new things that is kind of annoying, especially if you're playing like Pope or you happen to be Papal Controller. There's a new button in the papacy that lets you pay money to get un-excommunicated, and so France just did that. So they were excommunicated briefly, and now they're no longer excommunicated. And they can even do that in the middle of the war, where you declared a war based on the excommunication, and suddenly they're not anymore, and now you're screwed. I suspect this may get patched. I just realized Parliament. That's what we meant to do. We have debates. Gain sailors, no. Fort maintenance, advisor costs might be doing. Burghers, sailor recovery speed we don't care about. I think this is a good one here. Or we can do fort defense. Yeah, they're gonna try to siege out these forts. Let's go with fort maintenance. Alright, protect merchants. Burghers estate gain 2 influence, fine. We have some money. I don't want to lose mercantilism, I don't want to lose tradition. I'm gonna have to do one or the other. Are we doing on either of those? We have 5 tradition, and we have 29 mercantilism. That's painful. I really don't want to do either of these. I think we can afford 5 tradition more easily. Okay, now we need to give out some more seats.